Okay, log on to the Moodle and then download this file called lab2 onto the desktop and then open it. Now today we'll work on something related to format and charting. Now before we go to chart, let's take a look format first. The first format that we have to work on will be in exercise 3. So if you open the file you just downloaded called lab2, let's take a look at exercise 3 together. In exercise 3 there we have to change all the numbers with the dollar sign. So dollar is the format, all right? So to do that, we have to highlight all the number first before we apply the format dollar to it. Let's highlight all the numbers. Can you remember how to highlight all the numbers, all right, in an irregular format? All right, we use multiple selection method. So we use the highlighting crosshair to highlight all the number and then press the control button so that you can highlight in an irregular manner. All right, like that. Once you finish highlight all the numbers in this worksheet, you can release your control button on the keyboard and then we can go to homework ribbon here in number. You find we have a format called accounting number format. Accounting number format is actually a dollar sign there. It also can be changed to currency. It is actually used for big number. Another one that we can also use for big number is commerce style. Actually, we have two choices here. So let's click the accounting format, right? And then you see everything inside turned into number sign, all right? And if anything is more than 1000, there will be a comma there as well, just like 1714 here as you see. So let's save it. Another thing that we have to work on today is another formatting technique. We call it merge and center. Merge and center this time is targeting on a topic called 2007 first half year budget, which is actually A1 there as you see in your worksheet. We have to spread these 2007 first half year budgets across columns. So before we can apply merge and center here, as you see up there, we have to specify where particular box is spreading on. It can spread across a row as instructed in exercise 3 here. Okay, it can also spread across 2 rows, 3 rows like that. It doesn't matter, all right? But the point is, before we use this technique of merge and center format, we have to spread some area, highlight some area first. So today, let's highlight from A1 to J1, all right? So I'm highlighting A1, B1, C1, D1, E1, F1, G1, H1, I1, and J1 there. And I'm gonna use this merge and center so that I can put my 2007 first half year budget over all those boxes I just mentioned. All right. So let's click this merge and center button on in the homework ribbon there. And then you see that 2007 first half year budget will sit in right in the middle across or over all those boxes we just highlighted. Now, when we take a look at alignment here, you can also explore more on that by clicking these bottom right corner here called alignment settings. In alignment setting, you're going to find out Excel actually is very strong in alignment setting, which is quite similar to Microsoft Word. If we go to horizontal alignment there, you're going to find out they have actually all the alignment that we say, like left, right, justify, center, right? All those things like that, okay? Now, apart from that, last time we also mentioned something about border, right? People always say, people always find that all borders quite powerful, but actually the most powerful borders that we can find in Excel is here in more borders. If we click into it, you're gonna find out they actually can have 6 line over there with 5 different style and color, right? And that is borders. Now after this one here, let's do some operation in Excel, right? The first one is zooming. Zooming is used whenever we have to input something onto the worksheet for financial statement preparation, right? So can you remember how to zoom? We go to the bottom right here and click the plus button. So today let's zoom it pretty big, up to 260. So you zoom up all that big, right? Because you're inputting something. This is not exaggeration. People always do something like that to make sure things input is correct. However, if you zoom to be having the boxes all that big, if you go down, you're gonna experience problem of missing the first two rows in it. If you go to the right, you will miss column A right away, and then you will not be able to trace what category are you talking about, right? So you always think about how can I keep my first two row and column A, even I am all that big here in the boxes, all right? To do that, okay, then you have, or to handle this kind of problem, we have to make use of something called freezing, right, to help. So if you have to freeze something, the first thing you have to know is which column or row you want to fix first or freeze first. Okay, in this example here, we want to fix row 1 and 2. We want to fix, we want to freeze column A as well. Okay, if you agree with that, that means the area that I'm now highlighted, you want to fix it. You want to freeze it so that it's not moving at all. Okay, and after that, you have to ask yourself one more question. If row 1 and 2 and column A is not moving at all, which name box or which cell you allow yourself to move freely, which first cell, which is the first cell to say, which is the first cell you allow to move freely here. The one, of course, is this box here, and this coordinate is name box B3. So B3 is the first box out of this highlight area here, allowed to move up and down freely, right? So let's click B3 here. And then you can go to View Work Ribbon. And in View, you can choose Freeze Panes. And there you can choose the first option, Freeze Panes, because you want two rows and one column now not frozen, or to be freeze, or to be frozen, to be frozen. So let's choose the pull down first option, Freeze Panes. Once you chose it, no change quite obvious here, but when you now use the wheel on the mouse to scroll down, you find changes. That row 1 and 2 is now kept all the way down, right? If you go to the right, immediately you find your column A is not moving at all. So no matter how far you go, you still know that you are what categories it is. Is it hard goods, cost of goods sold, or overhead, right? Now, freezing is a very strong, stubborn function. Operation, as I say in Excel, that if you save it onto your file and open it again, you're gonna find out it will still be there, unless you go here again and say unfreeze, then it will stop. Remember, so it's only when you unfreeze it, it will stop. Otherwise, it will always be with the file, right? All time. So let me unfreeze it, all right? And then it will stop right away. And then you see the problem again of 1, 2 missing when you go down, or you go to the right, okay? Column A is missing as well, all right? Now, here come another issue, all right, is compare number. If I have a number here at the top right-hand corner, top left-hand corner, January clothing, and I want to have this number compare with my number here, all right? There's an overhead, okay? This number compare with the bottom right number. It's kind of quite difficult for you to compare them because you won't see these two numbers together because of the big size that you make for the boxes, right? So to compare number much easier in a big worksheet like that, you need splitting. So splitting is for number comparison, especially in a big worksheet or in a big boxes zoomed in this way like that. So we put somewhere in the middle of the screen first, and then we can go to view and click split. Split. Once you split the boxes, okay, now we see we have, hang on, we have clothing here, January clothing here, right? January clothing is here. And then you can go to the bottom right corner here. Maybe I want to check out, all right, the overhead, this one, all right, the overhead and January, this one, all right, hang on, this one, that one, all right. So you can now compare January clothing with total of overhead all on the same screen. Thanks to split, now you can see one another, right? So that's allow you to have multiple numbers compare easily on screen. Now split is not so stubborn as compared with freeze. If you save it like that and next time you open it, it will be gone actually. It will not be saved like freeze, all right? Or if you don't want it, you can always just click split once more. It will be gone also. Now let's zoom it away and return to 100%. Whenever you see anyone working with Excel, zoom back to 100%, you realize that person basically finished working with the financial statement, is about to print. And today, that would be the situation that we're now describing. Now, when we zoom out like that, let's go to page layout. And then take a look at the page size, see whether it's A4. If it is not, change it to A4 first. Together, let's change the scale from 100% here in fit to scale into 80%. All right, into this one here, change it into 80%. All right, once you do that, you should see a dotted line around here. Now, this is the width of the vertical page, and this particular uh, document can fit in the page very well vertically. Now let's highlight something from 2 all the way to 17. All right. We highlight from row 2 to row 17. And then you copy it. You go to home and you choose copy. This one, copy. And then you see this is in dotted, in copy mode. And then let's move to A53. Now A53, okay? A53 here. And then press enter. Press enter. Okay. Now, let's go to file and print. Now, let's go to file and print. In print, then look at the print preview. What did I just do? I just put that financial statement into a vertical A4 paper, and I done it quite well on top. And then I copy the whole thing down here. My only intention is to make this page overflow. So you see this page is now overflow. Let's take a look at the second page. What problem do you see? You're missing something. What are you missing? You're missing the title, right? The title of January, February, March, like that, right? So, do you find this problem familiar? You've seen it like that before. When you make the boxes really, really big, when you go down, can you remember? You also missed the first two rows, the January, February, right? This is now happening again, but on a piece of paper. So if you print something like that and you always have to go back to the first page to get your January, February, and you're gonna find out this is really, really troublesome, right? Not nice. Then you may wonder, is it possible that I can also have something like the freeze pens here on a piece of paper? Now you ask for it, I'm telling you, you have it actually. We have a paper version of freeze pen here. Be done so that this problem can be solved. So let's go back to the worksheet here and turn to page layout. This time page layout. In page layout, if you want to solve a problem, all right, if you want to actually implement a freeze pens onto a piece of paper, then you have to turn to print title. So print title is a paper version of the freeze pens that we see on screen, right? So let's click freeze print titles. Once you click print titles in page layout here, we go to this box here called print titles. It's called rows to repeat at top, and we stop here. Afterwards, we go back to worksheet and use the wheel and the mouse to scroll all the way up. And then we go to the row that we want to repeat, all right, when it's overflow a page. And today I would like to have the second row repeat once I overflow a page. So I go to the second row, you see it's now in green. I click it, and it's now in dotted line. Now this dotted line will appear here, say $2, colon $2, all right, you see it appear here. Once I click the row 2 here, I will have this one appear here automatically. After that, let's take a look at the result by going to the print review direct. Let's click this one, and you see, okay, the first page still the same. Oh look, now turn to the second page. Now the problem solved, as you see. With the page is overflow, the title, right, February, March, like that will be on top again. So you don't have to go back to the pages previous to save the trouble, right? So that's the paper version of pre-pens that we see, right? Now the last things we want to introduce you before we go to the exercise is about a special page. So before we have the special page, of course, you have to have an area of copy first. So let's copy an area of rectangular size. For example, I'm now highlighting something from A9 to C10. After that, I go to home and I copy it. I press the copy button here. I copy it, and it's now in copy mode. And then I go to L2 here first, L2. After that, I go to home and I go to the pull down menu or page, and I choose page special, page special. What I want to introduce you today is this little tick here called transpose. So what is transpose? What is transpose in page? So let's try it. We take this one, we'll know right away. So let's take this page special transpose here, and then OK. Once you do that, you compare with the one that is blooming right now and this one. What do you see? This advertising $9, $9 from row turned to advertising $9, $9 into column. So that's what we say transpose. From row to column, right? From row to column, right? That means it's 90-degree clockwise change and paste back, right? So this is the special paste transpose that you need to learn. Let's save it. All right. Now let's start the exercise. The exercise today is quite good. It's review something that you learned last time. See whether you still be able to remember it. Okay, this is the exercise. The first exercise is actually an exam question quite long time ago. And today you have to, in the financial statement, calculate something called profit margin. You now need to calculate profit margin. The profit margin has an equation, right? So this is definitely a formula. A formula. This formula is quite complicated. That would be income over total tax times 100%, and you have to let the number show in 2 decimal places. Can you use the round function we learned last time? The answer is no, because that will introduce rounding error. Can you remember that? So, what does that tell you? This is actually telling you that you have to use format for that. So in this particular equation that is given in a question, it is also very commonly seen in Excel question. You're going to know, okay, for this equation, you just need to calculate income over total tax. But for 100% here, you actually have to let format to do it. Right? That's the way we do. We will do this in January 1st so that when it is okay, we can share this to the rest of the month. So let's start with that, all right? In A19 here, let's type profit margin first. Profit margin is the rate of change of profit in a company. And then we have to calculate the January profit margin. We are going to use a formula to do it. So can you still remember from our last learning? When you introduce a formula, you use equal sign, remember? And the equation is income over total sale. The income for January is that one here, but we're not using one. we're using the name boxes. Remember, that would be B17. Divided by, divided by what? Divided by the January total sales, that would be 234 for the time being, and the coordinate for that is B6. Now, after that, what do you see? You see a number. A number is 0.004274. That's a perfect number for a format here that we call percent. Percent is actually most ideally applied to number ranging from -1 to 1 because the purpose for percent is to magnify the small changes between -1 to 1, just like a magnifying glass. Okay, so if you use percent onto a number like 6, 7, that means out of range, that would be quite absurd and silly actually, because that would be like you use a magnifying glass over an eye and go outside on the street and you find everything is so big. Okay, so remember next time then, if you want to use percent correctly, it should always be between -1 and 1, and this is a perfect situation, 0.004274. So let's give it a percent. Let's give it a percent format. After they have a percent format, the question requires you to show two decimal places, and you do not want to incur any rounding error. So we have to use another format to help. So this is the second format that we use today. It's called increased decimal. Last time we used the decreased one, right? So we have two decimal places needed. 1, 2, all right? So this is a formula with two formats that you see. This formula, two formats, we want to share that with the rest of the month. So we go to the bottom right corner, and you see this is formula page crosshair, right? So let's click on that and extend all the way to total. And then you have every month's profit margin calculated. So from this example, you now have a new conclusion about formula page. In our first lesson, we say formula page is action repeat, but this is actually not very precise. Now you know the real picture is formula page is action and format repeat, actually. All right. So this question shows that perfectly. I hope you learned from it. Now, after this question here, we have another trial for you. Microsoft Excel is very good at word processing because in the old days, it is the first Office actually application that Microsoft launched. It can do a lot of things Word do. And in Microsoft Word, we have header and footer, right? In Microsoft Excel, we have two ways to do it, to kind of mimic Microsoft Word. One is by means of the print title you just learned. Another one is the header and footer actually function, operation in Microsoft Excel. Today we'll try them both. Okay, before we do that, we have to add something called hit the best company limited at the top of the worksheet. So how can I add something at the top? If you don't know, let's practice it again. This is an insert exercise. Anywhere on the worksheet can insert, remember? Now I want the top of the worksheet to have company name. So I go to the first box on top here, right click and click insert. And this time I want an entire row, remember? So I say entire row here. And then I will have a first row, all right, free for me to use. And then in my A1 there, I would type the company name. It would be Hit the Best Company Limited. Judging by the name, you're going to find out this is actually a music company, right? A music creation company, Hit the Best Company Limited. And the first way to make this one as the header on every page is just like Microsoft Word header, you can use print title. The way to do it is very simple. We can go to page layout, print titles, and then in the area called row to repeat at top, we just go over there, delete this one first here, delete it. And then we go for the row we want to see on every page, and that would be hit the best company limited here as you see on one, right? Here. So let's click it. Once you click it, you see this one is in copy mode, and this $1 is here, and then you click OK, right? So this is the first way. You can make use of print title to let it do something similar to header, but this is not a good idea, I'm telling you. Okay, because it's better to be mimicking the freeze pans as we see on screen. All right. Anyway, now another way to do that is, of course, we use the Microsoft Excel way to make the header and footer just like that. To do that, we can go to page layout here and choose this bottom right corner called page setup dialog. So let's click it. Once you load the page setup dialog box right here, you see the second last tab here will be header and footer, as we always see in Microsoft Word. And then, let's see. We can compare this one with the one down below here. Now, this is the header that we need to make today. This one is kind of complicated, so we have to make use of something called a custom header to make one for it. So let's click this custom header here. In the custom header, it will make the top part of the page into three sections: the left part, the right part, and the center part. And today is the right part with words only. So we go to the right part. The right part is here, right section, as you say. We go there, and then we type the name of the company. All right, as you see down below here, Heat the Best Company Limited 2007 first half year purchase. So let's type them. Heat the Best Company Limited full stop 2007. You don't have to worry about the line go to the second line. Doesn't matter, because if the middle part is not used, the computer will automatically expand to use the middle part so that it will show on one line only. So I don't have to worry about. I go down to the next line. I just type Heat the Best Company Limited 2007 first half year budget. Once I've done that, I click OK to confirm. And then I will see in the preview very clearly that Heat the Best Company Limited will go on the top right hand corner, extending all the way to the middle as well. So it's perfect. The other things is about a footer. Now I want a page number on the bottom left corner, and I want a date time on the bottom right corner. Again, this is new, so I go and make a custom footer myself here. The custom footer working is very similar to the custom header, that they would have the right section, the center section, and the left section. Today let's work on the left first. The left is page. So I have to type the word page and spacebar first. After that, I will press this button called a hash. Once I've done that, those things will come out. So those things highlighted actually appear because I press this insert page number button. After that, let's also get the current date on the bottom right corner. So I go to the right section, and this time I'll click this one called insert date, which is like a calendar. And I click it, and then I'll have all those things here, which is actually generated by the computer. All I have to press is only one space bar, and then I press the clock right here, and that would be insert time. Is the clock here? Can you see the clock? Right, the clock here. Okay, so I pressed too many times. It's only one clock I need, so I just delete the extra clock. I have the day and time. All I add is only a little space in between. After that, I click OK to confirm, and then I'll see, all right, my footer would have page 1 on the left and the date and time on the right. And that OK, that's it. Now let's try the final exercise. The final exercise about charting. Today we're going to do two charts. One is on sales, it's on line. Another one is an expense, it's in column. After that, we investigate, see whether they have the 3D form or not. That's something we have to do. All right. So let's go back here in Excel. Whenever you are charting, all right, whether you're doing it manually or using computer, you have to specify what table you are charting first. So today, let's do the sales charting first. Let's highlight from A3 to G3 first, and then press the control button. And then we highlight from A5 all the way to G6. By joining the two highlight area, you have a table. Whenever you plot, you need a table. Remember, whether you're using you're plotting it manually or you're plotting computer, right? Using computer. So you're focusing A3 to G3 and A5 to G6. So you have all the sales data highlighted. That means you're focusing them. And then we go to insert and we get a line to represent them, those changes of the data. So we go for line here. You see there's a line here, line chart. We click the pull down for line, and the line we need will be this one, the dotted line. We call it line of markers. Let's click it. Once you click it, you have the chart here right away, right? But we can move it somewhere because it's actually blocking us from seeing the financial statement. So we can click this move chart here. So let's click move chart, and then we go move it to a new worksheet and call it sales. We move to a new worksheet and call it sales. Once you've done it, you click OK to confirm, and the whole chart will be on the new worksheet itself. It looks neat and tidy and nice. And then we have to click the title, chart title, click into it and change its name, all right, into sales as well. This one we change it into sales. All right. Now, that's the 2D. And then let's explore the 3D. Can you do 3D here? No. If you really want to explore the 3D here, we go to the blank area here and right click and choose this one, change chart type. It's only by changing the chart type you can have 3D. So let's change chart type for that. Let's do this one. The only option for 3D is here, the 3D line. Before I do that, try to remember this one because we can compare later. All right, take a look at that. All right, try to remember that. Now we change 3D. Now this is 3D, and then okay. See the line change a little bit. And also do one more thing. Over the blank here, right click and go to this option called 3D rotation. So let's rotate it. Rotate what? Rotate the Y rotation. Increase from 15 degrees to 30, please. And then close the format here. So, do you find the two lines combined? If you find the two lines combined, congratulations, your eyes do not have any problem. It's perfect eyesight. You see the two lines combined, that's true. But is this the real combined line? The point is, when you put it back to 2D, is actually like that. They are quite far away from one another. How come that they become one? Okay, do you believe in this or do you believe in that? Of course, you believe in the 2D one. That's a nicer, cleaner way and easier to understand way. This is actually what? An illusion. This is actually cheating, deceiving you. All right. So you now realize in Excel there is actually no such thing as 3D. So whenever someone show you 3D, it's actually carry intention of deceive. So you have to be very careful, look at those numbers. Maybe you need to ask for a 2D. Now that's about the line. Then you may ask, how about the columns? Is it also that easy to be cheating people? So let's plot once more. This time let's plot the expense. Again, we highlight from A3 to G3 first. This is expenses, this time we want to plot. Press the control button, and then we highlight from A10 to G15. So today the expense has a lot of data. Is from A3 to G3 and then A10 all the way to G15. Of course, pressing the control in between. And the two become a one table, right? And then we go to insert. This time we use the column. Where is the column? Column is here. And we're going to be using the 2D to see the picture clearer first. So we try the 2D cluster column first. Cluster column, perfect. And then we move it to a new worksheet as we did earlier and name it expenses. So let's do it quick. Then we change the chart title into expenses. Right, it's very easy. All right, that's it. So this is the 2D column chart, showing perfectly of the up and downs of the spending of the company during the first half year in 2007. So if I want to deceive people with that, what column chart would I have to make? Let's take a look how people deceive the others. They would go here and of course they have to change it 3D. So right click and change chart type. So what kind of chart type would help people deceive the others? This one is 3D 100% stack columns. Stack columns means one after another, tip tip pan, alright? So they use the 3D stack column. Once they done that, it looks like that. And then, of course, this is not deceiving enough for people to read it. So they right click it here and also go for what? 3D rotation, as you can expect it. To compare with the line, let's also focus on Y, right? On Y. Last time we increased the degree up to 30. Now this one, how many degrees? Can you guess? Okay. This one is actually have to increase up to 70. All right, so let's make it 70. Once you make it up to 70, what do you find? It's a bird eye view of it. And then you're going to find out every bar is going to look alike. Are they really look alike? The fact is, they actually looks like that. But once they are manipulated, they look like that. Okay? So you can conclude that the line actually is easier to be manipulated than the bar, all right? But the bar can also be done something like that. So next time whenever anyone is presenting a bird eye view for you for their numbers, you should be very careful. All right, so let's save it and then upload it. That's all we have to share with you today about Microsoft Excel working on chart and format. And next time we'll continue with something called function. And the last 2 weeks we'll prepare for the open book assignment and also for the closed book exam. All right, and that's all we have today. All right.